So it's been a month with Aiden in our lives, and I figured that it was time to do like the labor and delivery story. Like, I have some clips from like while I was in labor and then like after, because it was so fast that like everything happened literally within like only a couple hours, like literally a couple hours, not like throughout the whole day. And there's just a lot going on, and you will completely understand when you hear this entire story. I was scheduled for a C-section for a Friday. I don't even remember what the date was. The 28th, I think, was the scheduled C-section time, and we all had our guesses in on what time he was going to be born, because I was supposed to be in the OR starting at 8 o'clock. So we all had our guesses on time. So obviously that got thrown out the door when I gave birth on Tuesday. But I was having a lot of Braxton Hicks this time around. I never had that with the other two boys, but we had a bunch of Braxton Hicks. So when I woke up and started having like, actually, I wouldn't even say that I woke up that day. It was like the night before I was having Braxton Hicks, and went and took a bath, and they went away. So the next morning I got up and did my usual routine of getting the boys breakfast, getting them ready for the day, getting myself ready for the day, and then leave the house and go do something for the morning. Because if you have boys, you definitely know that you need to go run them for the morning, so you can have like a peaceful afternoon and have to do stuff for yourself. Anyways, so I get the boys loaded in the car. I get what I need to get done in the morning. Go do, I think it was a bank deposit for Michael for the business. So I go, it's probably around like 9 o'clock at this point, go do the bank deposit, and then I don't even think I made it to, no, I didn't make it to the playground that day. So around 10 o'clock, I'm starting to have like contractions, but I'm thinking, oh, they're Braxton Hicks. And I was like, oh, like maybe I should call my mom and ask if she has a bag packed, because my mom lives anywhere between 3.5 to 4 hours away, and she's the one that would be watching my boys this week, or when I would go into labor. So I just call her and just make sure that she has her bag packed and that she's all ready to go. And I was like, oh, I'm just gonna keep you on standby. And she goes, do I have time to go weed whack my fence? And I was like, oh, I think you do. I think you're okay. And she was like, okay, well, let me know when you get home. Honestly, frankly, this might be a TMI. I literally thought it was just gonna be like a poop pain, like I had a bowel like that I needed to move on, and I thought they were like kind of like that. So I was like, I'm gonna go home, go to the bathroom, get into the bath and see if they're Braxton Hicks, and then I'll let you know. She's like, okay, well, let me know in like an hour when you are done doing all that. I think that's around, actually, I think I started timing them. I actually did start timing all of my contractions, and I think I saved it on the app, so I can literally pull it up. Okay, so I started timing my contractions around 10 o'clock in the morning, because they were starting to get closer together. And when I say they're getting closer together, like they started at like 6 minutes apart. Like I did not go through the, okay, they're 10 minutes apart, they're like 15 to 10, whatever, 10 to 15 minutes apart. I'll just watch them and see if they regulate. No, mine started at bam, like every 6 minutes you're going to have a contraction. And when I tell you, when I got home and I got in the bath, they got worse. They did not ease up. So immediately when I'm in the bath, like I didn't even finish the full hour of having my mom like on standby, I call her and she's in the shower. I think she literally said, okay, I'm gonna go inside and go shower just in case if this is the real deal. I don't even think she was done taking a shower when I called her and said, this is the real deal, I need you to come up here. And I literally, yeah, 10 o'clock, 6 minutes apart. Then like 5 minutes later, they were only 3 minutes apart, and then it regulated back to like 6 minutes. And yeah, ever since then, I can put the contractions up on the screen here. I have screenshots. They literally got closer together really fast. And like a little bit of a backstory, we had no one to watch our kids, like 0, because Michael's whole family was on vacation that week, and the one person that we could get to watch our kids in like a time frame that lived near us was Michael's dad, and he travels for work. Okay, so back to it. Michael's dad travels for work, and he was still like an hour and a half away or something. Yeah, so I literally had no one to watch my other 2 boys, and that was probably bad planning on my part. I probably should have had my mom up here like all week, but I didn't want to like do anything for, you know, false labors. Anyway, so literally I had my mom on her way. She's like, okay, I'm throwing everything in the car right now. I'm on my way. She's like, oh, the GPS says I'm gonna get there at like 3:30. I was like, okay, like I think that gives me enough time. At this point, they were like painful, but they weren't like, they were still taking my breath away, but they weren't to the point of where they did get. And so I had Michael rush home. I got both of the other boys ready. I already had my hospital bags ready to go. I had Michael throw everything in the car, and we rushed to the hospital. I think we got to the hospital around like 12:15 or so. And our plan was just for Michael to sit in the parking lot with the older boys and wait for his dad to come to the hospital to pick up the boys, or wait for Michael's dad to get home and Michael go drop the kids off and come back. So we thought that was going to be the plan, because that's kind of how it was with Ethan. Like when we went in for, when I went to labor by myself or like on my own, is that like they check you, monitor you for an hour. So I thought we had time. They checked me, and I was regularly having contractions every 4 minutes at this point, and they were painful, and I was crying and screaming on every contraction. And I got there, they checked me, they're like, okay, you're at a 4. And the one doctor's like, okay, we'll probably monitor you for an hour and see where you're at. Well, my contractions got closer together, and I was screaming in pain, and they got closer together. So they were probably like 3 minutes apart within like a half an hour. And the one nurse, and I wish I got her name, but like I was in screaming pain that I wasn't paying attention to anything. Like they were having me sign papers like in between contractions and try to talk to me, and they're trying to talk to me while I'm in contractions because everything was going by so fast, because I was supposed to have a scheduled C-section. So they're like trying to figure out, trying to prep me, all this stuff. So this one nurse advocated for me, and thank God, because she's like, she's not waiting an hour for you to check her, because look at her, she's screaming in pain, she's clearly in active labor, like this is gonna happen. And yeah, I know they kept asking me, where's your husband? Where's your husband? Is he almost here? And I remember like calling Michael, texting Michael, I'm saying like, I need you in here. I need you in now. Like I'm gonna have this baby by myself, basically. So they checked me, I was at a 4. They checked me again around like 1 o'clock. So like a half an hour later, and I was at a 6. So I progressed 2 centimeters within a half an hour, and my contractions getting closer and closer together. And I remember like calling Michael, texting Michael, I need you in here. I need you in here. And Michael almost like had one of his workers come sit with our kids in the parking lot until his dad came. I think I kept like I think it was at like 1 o'clock, I ended up calling him. I said, I need you in here now. Like when they checked me and I was at 6 centimeters, and they're like, okay, they were prepping you. They get my IV in, and I actually still have like the bruise from when like I blew a vein the first time they tried to put an IV in me, and it was awful. And then they ended up putting me another one. They got my cap on, they got me shaved and like prepped for surgery. They put my cap on. So Michael's like watching his dad's dot like literally travel to the hospital. And Michael's dad kept joking like, oh, do you think that you could just like drop the kids off, which would be like an hour trip, like half an hour there, half an hour back? And I was like, no, absolutely not. And he was joking about it. But so Michael comes in at like 1:15, 1:30, I want to say. And he comes in and immediately gets his, I forget what they called it, but like put a suit on to go in for the emergency. Well, I guess it was, I don't know if it was technically called an emergency C-section at this point, to go into the OR basically. So I go back by myself because like the husband can't be in the room until you're fully like sterile, and you know, they're literally about to cut you. So we go back and they are finishing prepping me. They're putting the spinal in. And at that point they were saying my contractions were like 1 to 2 minutes apart. So I kind of feel like I was probably at almost 10 centimeters at that point, if I wasn't already. But when I tell you, it's almost like a blur, but I was in so much pain and screaming. Like I progressed so fast and the contractions were so hard. The one nurse was like, I'm waiting for your water to break, because I got up to go to the bathroom right before Michael came in. I said, I have to pee like really bad. And I go to the bathroom and I come out and they're like, I was waiting for your water to break with like that one contraction that was like really hard. And surprisingly my water didn't break. But I get to the OR, they put my spinal in. Honestly, everything touching, feeling like hurt. Like she touched me with her finger and I screamed. Like, I don't know. I think I was just like over the top, and I was afraid that I was gonna have this baby by myself, I feel like. Anyways, so get the spinal, they sterilize me, they lay me down, they wait, it's like 3 minutes, like while they put the like the cleaner on you, and you have to wait for 3 minutes. And then yeah, so he was born at 2:02. 2:02. So I get to the hospital at 12:30 and have him by 2:02. So I progressed really fast, and it was probably the most pain I've ever been in my entire life. If I waited, I couldn't have waited for my mom to get here. Like I would have been screwed. Like I would have had this baby by myself or on the side of the road. For sure. For sure. So I can insert some clips, I guess, within here. I know the first couple of clips are so like raw. I like watched them back afterwards when I was having contractions, and I know I was like not in a good mental state because I thought that I was gonna have these kids, or this baby, by myself, because I had no one to watch my kids. And yeah, it's pretty raw.
I thought having a planned C-section, I would never have to feel a contraction again. But here I am. They're getting like closer together, and I'm freaking out because I have no one to watch my kids. Everyone's on vacation. My mom's on her way here, but she's still 3.5 hours away. I'm just took a bath to see if they were Braxton Hicks, because the Braxton Hicks go away with a bath, and they're not going away, and they're getting more and more painful, and I'm sick on top of all of this, so that's just great. So here I am. Ethan has a double ear infection. Owen's sick. I'm sick, my nose won't stop running, and I'm coughing like crazy, and today's the day that my body just says, oh, you're gonna have a kid today. Still waiting for my doctor's office to call me back, because right now, like, they came on, like, really fast, like, out of nowhere. Like, last night I was having some that weren't, like, very consistent and whatever, so I just thought, like, it was a Braxton Hicks, because I've been having a ton of Braxton Hicks lately. And here I am. Yeah, ran out errands with the boys. Right. Oh, shit. Here comes another one. I don't remember them being this painful with Ethan. I didn't have any with Owen because I was induced. They're awful. Oh. I can't even, like, breathe through them. They're so bad right now. Watch, I'm gonna be like one of those people that deliver their baby on the side of the road, but my kids don't fit. Oh. All right, I need to call Michael to have him rush here, because I'm not even gonna wait for my doctor to call me, because, like, these are not Braxton Hicks. Like, they're not.
And I know I took, like, a video right after he was born and, like, one time in the hospital.
Here we go. Only about 4 hours later, he's here. Very fast. Let's just say Michael had his dad meet us at the hospital and came in and had the baby immediately. Oh.
Sorry.
Bless you. This is what, day 3 we're in here? Day 2.
Well, it's day 3, but we didn't get in until like noon on day 1.
Yeah. So it's like 10 o'clock in the morning on Thursday, and we are booking discharge today, which is pretty great. And we'll go home and go meet the 4 wild ones that are waiting at home for us. And they get to meet their new sibling. Us being in the hospital, I haven't really picked up my phone, and I didn't have time to grab my camera, so this is all done on my phone.
Yeah, it's all good.
Yeah, it's all good.
It was a little bit of a rush.
Just a tad bit of a rush.
You know, this was definitely the easiest recovery I've had so far. Like, the C-section went, like, smooth. I was in there for less than an hour, and I was banking on, like, an hour and a half. Because of my last C-section, that's about how long it took. So I was, like, waiting for that. But he was 8 pounds, 13 ounces, and he was 20¼ inches long. And he did perfect. Like, it was all good. I did not have an anxiety attack this time. I had an anxiety attack while I had a C-section with Owen. And it was probably just, like, a bunch of nerves, but I didn't have one this time. Like, Michael was by my side the entire time, except for to go snip the cord with him and bring him back and make sure he was good. But after that, he came back and hung out with me the whole time, which was good. And I felt good. Like, I didn't feel, like, anxiety or anything like that. I did get, like, a bit of nausea, and, like, my body tried to throw up, but it just, nothing came out. So it was good dry heaving. But that only happened one time, and other than that, like, felt good. Like, everyone was talking to me. This time around, the doctor asked me, you know, what kind of music I wanted to listen to while she's actively, you know, sewing me back up. She's like, what kind of music am I gonna listen to? I want to make sure that you're good. I was like, okay, let's listen to country. So we literally listened to country, and it was a good time. And not a good time, like, I'm getting stitched up, but it overall was a better experience. So he is going to be a month old here this week, and life has been good. Like, I thought adjusting from 2 to 3 kids was going to be difficult, and it really hasn't been too different than our normal schedule. The only thing that's really different is that I'm waking up multiple times to feed a baby, instead of waking up because I'm so uncomfortable. Anyways, so Michael's out there making dinner and I can smell it, so I am ready to go eat. I'm so hungry, and I also need to put the bigger boys to bed. They've already bathed and ate, but it's 7 o'clock, so it's starting our nighttime routine that I need to go put at least one of them to bed and then wait 10 minutes until that one falls asleep and put the other one in. But anyways, I just want to finish this labor and delivery story so I can get it edited and put up and start other vlogs like day in the life with 3 kids, and you know what our lives are looking like with 3 boys, 3 and under. And yeah, so anyways, thank you for clicking on this video, listening to Aiden's birth story. There will be plenty of more videos coming up with newborn routines and everything like that. But thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys in my next video. Anything you would like to add to Aiden's birth story?
I'm just glad I was there.
You're just glad that you were there? Okay.
No, I'm glad I was there, really. Like, it was close.
It was a close call, huh?
It was a close call.
Very close call.
I mean, it was nice to not have to sit in the hospital for hours on end. So,
That is true.
but it was fast.
Yes.
Super fast.
Yes. We're having hibachi for dinner tonight.